Welcome back to Doing Bart Things. In this decidedly low rent production, I am not feeling well. Haven't in a while. Um, just been coughing and stuff all week, or I would have done a video sooner. Um, this video is going to be again just another very unfortunate video, but there is a ray of hope. So I kind of pulled up this old video from Gamers Nexus where we got the glimpse at the beginning of kind of the end of what I think will be looked at as Nvidia's dominance in consumer GPUs for gaming. The reason is, the way this is playing out now, Nvidia has completely abandoned the gamer market. Like, they just do not care about people on their personal PCs that play video games. They want the AI. That's what they're after. And the beginning of that, I think, was when EVGA realized the writing on the wall and they got out. And they got out because, quote unquote, disrespectful behavior, or treatment. It was, Nvidia just absolutely murdering the board partners for margin. And they've continued this trend, but now what's happening is essentially the supply has gotten to the point where there's just no supply. And it's because all production is being turned towards AI cards. We knew this was going to happen, but it's way worse this time than we even anticipated. So if you look at, say, Newegg, which is a giant online retailer, they have one RTX 5000 series card in stock. One. It's the TUF 5070. That's it. That's all they got. They got one, just this one model. If you scroll down, it's all out of stock. Okay? There's nothing to buy. It's not even, we're ignoring the price right now, which is another problem. But for now, if you just look, like, there's nothing, you can't buy a 5000 series GPU. New. You can't. There's none out there. There is no supply. Here's the deal, guys. I don't think there's going to be any supply. I think maybe they ramp up 5070s a little bit, but I just don't think there's going to be any supply. You're going to be expected to pay $1,500 or more for a 5080 and $3,000 potentially for a 5090. That's just the world we live in, because Nvidia will not supply their partners with cards. They supply them with a trickle of cards. It's 10, 15%, just guessing the supply they normally do. And, I mean, there's going to be layoffs at places like Asus over this because there's just not enough product to move. I don't even know if I blame the AIBs for charging $3,000 now because there's no cards. They're trying to fill a market niche with no product, basically. So this is really bad. This is not even, this is going to shake up the market quite a bit. Now, Intel, I've heard, is basically just stopping Battlemage. That they're basically not going to be shipping Battlemage anymore, I don't think. So that trickle is going to be down to almost nothing. That leaves one company. And this is where we have a little bit of a spot of hope, maybe, kind of, is AMD. Now, I'm going to put the 9070 XT up here, and you notice they're all out of stock. They're not out of stock because AMD is not shipping cards. They're out of stock because they have been bought, because there's nothing else to buy. AMD has won this generation of GPU simply because they have cards. That's it. Literally no one else came to the race. 9070 XT is not a bad card. I managed to get my hands on a 9070 XT Asus Prime at Micro Center, which, by the way, I think your odds of getting your hands on a card are way higher at Micro Center. Just going there on occasion, making a walk in the store in the morning, you probably have a better shot at it than trying to get one off Newegg. But it's not a bad card. It actually is a little bit of an upgrade over the 3080. I just wanted one, and I managed to get mine for $599. So I don't think they're going to be at MSRP for a little bit because there's just not. So the way to think about it is not that AMD is not shipping cards. They're not ramped up to ship as many cards as Nvidia. Okay, they were hoping and thinking maybe they would, be able to, 50% more production and then, sell a bunch of cards and make some money that way. They thought that was going to be kind of the way. The demand is way outstripped what they thought. Like, there's no Nvidia cards. There's just no video cards. Like, there's no 4000 series, right? Nvidia stopped making them, so there's no 4000 series cards. There's no 5000 series cards. Nvidia, there is no cards. There's nothing. So AMD suddenly, who is like 15-20% of the market now, is trying to now provide for 90% of the market, and they don't have the volume for that. Like, they're not making enough cards. I think they need to put in an order at TSMC now. They need to put an order in now, today, yesterday, to get more volume out there, because I think they're going to sell a ton of cards. They're going to go from like 15% market share to about 30 or 40, like in a hurry, if they will just produce cards. The demand for these cards is really high. It's not as fast as a 5080, right? It hangs with a 5070 Ti. It's pretty close to a 4080, roughly in there. For the average Joe, that's a plenty amount of performance. That's a really good amount of performance. They've got the pricing where it's semi-sane. I'm pleased enough paying $599 for that level of performance, considering today's market. Okay, not considering historical, but just today's market. Like that's kind of where the deal is. And I think a lot of people are looking who are holding off and holding off and holding off with their 1080s and their 1060s, just looking, go, well, I mean, this card can basically do what I need to do, but I would like an upgrade. And they held off and they held off and they held off. And finally, here's a card that is kind of, a price value card that performs a little bit more on the upper end of the scale, but it's not $3,000. An average person can save that and add that to his build, right? And keep your entire build cost down to that $1,500-ish price, to $2,000, somewhere in there. And that's where people build high-end gaming rigs, is kind of in that price. And I'm sorry, but yes, they are high-end gaming rigs if you're spending $2,000 to build it. You want something that is going to have better than your average performance. Like, you're not building a PS5, right? So the 9070 kind of falls in that category. The 9070 XT can absolutely deliver. It's got 16 gigs of VRAM, which, is one of the reasons why it enticed me. Is the VRAM on games right now is, demands are starting to creep up a bit. And if you can find it, some of these are $600. Now, I really think you should have your budget ready and open to spend more like $700 for some of these, or in and around, right? But the only thing they're driving the prices on these up is the fact that they're selling out. It's not because AMD's not delivering cards. Like, AMD had a shipment to Micro Center that I went to, I believe, or another Micro Center, and they had a shipment the next day. Like, it was boom, boom, boom. They're shipping cards. So this is a far cry, much different than what Nvidia is doing. AMD just suddenly, overnight, can't provide for 90% of the market. Like, that's just reality. Like, they have to tell TSMC, they have to ramp up production, And I'm hoping they do, because I think if they do, they've got a winner. And they're going to walk off into the sunset with this. Their market share is going to skyrocket from what it was. And they'll win. Like the other players didn't show up to the game. And they're just left out on the court shooting hoops by themselves. Like, of course they win. I mean, and I'm not saying, just what a hellscape this is. Every other component is fine, basically. You have Intel, which, AMD is kind of run away with that one too, but you have Intel out there that's still making products, right? They're still shipping products. People are buying a bunch of Intel laptops, that sort of thing. You have, storage drives are super cheap. Memory is not that expensive. Computer cases, man, the competition for a good computer case is really high. There's so many awesome options out there. Until you get to video cards. And now there's nothing. There's two players, really. There was one who thought about playing and then just decided to quit. And then there's another player who is acting like they showed up and then didn't. Basically. Doesn't matter how good your quote-unquote frame gen is. You got to show up. That's it. Anyway, so all hail AMD, the winner of this generation of graphics cards, because they actually have cards. So all three people that get a 5090, enjoy them, please. Hopefully they don't blow up on you, or you don't get one that doesn't have enough ROMs that you actually got, that you got ripped off. And, there you go. That's the situation. Again, my suggestions, if you have a Micro Center near you, probably hit that up once in a while. Keep your eyes out. Do not buy from scalpers. Like, try to buy new. If you be patient, the demand will simmer off a little bit as more and more people get their cards, and then you'll start to get some cards. Be ready to pay a little bit over potentially MSRP normally for kind of one of these, if you're not paying $599, at least make sure you're buying one, I guess, that has a better cooler or something on it, God, this just sucks. Like, I don't want to advise anybody to pay over MSRP for anything, but, at this point, if you want one of these cards, it's probably not going to be at MSRP. And they're all going to be sold out for a while. So I would say just look and do your best, and, good luck. Good luck. May the force be with you. Keep an eye out, I guess, I don't even know if watching Newegg is worth it, honestly. Just because I think this is where, like, your scalpers and stuff probably come. They probably got bots or some shit set up where they're just watching for something to come in stock so they can snatch it. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe I'm crazy for thinking that, but it feels that way. I would just look around different stores, kind of watch Amazon, but be careful about that. Maybe watch Newegg. Look for Micro Center. If you keep your eyeballs peeled, you'll eventually get a card, because AMD is shipping them. So that's the one thing that we've got going for us, is AMD is producing them, they're shipping them. Demand is just kind of outstripped, what they can produce, because, again, no one else is really making cards at the moment, apparently. So anyway, all right, guys. Well, enjoy your weekend. Sorry for the horrible news. I will try to make another video soon. Just, again, life keeps kind of getting in the way, and this obviously is just an outlet for me and doesn't pay any bills. So there you go. Anyway, take care. We'll see you in the next one.